Approaching 100 are Punjab after winning the toss and deciding to bat first. Yes, that we have to keep repeating that. That's always been big news in this tournament, but it is hot. It's an afternoon game, so well justified it might be. You can see the Rajasthan bowlers starting to feel the heat after a certain point in time. Where exactly do Punjab stand with 10 overs to go? 88 for 1. And the man we suggested should be batting at the top of the order did exactly that in Johnny Bairstow, 44 not out of 27 deliveries. And the only other man who's been striking the ball as hard as Liam Livingstone is Bhanuka Rajapaksa. So those boxes being ticked once again by Punjab. Let's assess it on Cricbuzz Comm Box in the company of Shaun Pollock. 88 for 1 in 10 overs, platform set, Shaun. But I think the big thing for Punjab is that they've given Johnny Bairstow the right position to bat at.
Yeah, coming to the fore. I mean, he's had a bit of a quiet IPL so far. This is his highest score so far in the tournament. So definitely coming to his own. And yeah, he's one of those guys who just loves to be up front and know exactly what his role is. I don't think he's that comfortable in the T20 format, sitting waiting to see what he does or doesn't have to do. And also he likes to start with boundaries, doesn't he? And that's what you're afforded when you bat in that first 6 overs. So a good move for them. We still don't know where Mayank will come. But I think with this kind of start, it would probably be Livingstone that they get to the crease next.
But I could answer that question for you very shortly because we will be focusing on the dugout to see who replaces Bhanuka Rajapaksa after a combination of Chahal and the Comm Box has accounted for the hard-hitting Sri Lankan. But yeah, I'm just looking over the corner of my eye. I think it is the captain who is striding out there. So maybe 2-3 overs later, it might have been Livingstone.
Yeah, and maybe he comes and plays with some real freedom, Mayank. There's no reason to try and pat it around. He can look to express himself. And that's sometimes when you're struggling for form, that's the ideal mindset that you can go to the crease with.
In terms of the bowling, well, it is hot out there. So you'd imagine the spinners would be possibly relishing bowling as much as they possibly could. It's the spinners who have taken the wickets. Ravichandran Ashwin early on with that magnificent catch by Jos Buttler and add a wicket to the column of Yuzvendra Chahal, who's just accounted for Rajapaksa. Just a quick word on Trent Bolt. He's bowled a maiden, still gone for 28 in 3.
Yeah, that is a surprise. I mean, surprised to see a maiden, first of all. Sometimes you can see it early on in the piece, but in the third over when there were no wickets down, he did well to do that. But yeah, sometimes that third over is a bit of a push, when it's not really swinging and they're looking to try and take advantage at the back end. But once we saw the surface, once the camera got nice and close, and it did look a little bit patchy, there was some dry spots. So I think the spinners will be the ones that will dictate terms, and it's proving to be so.
Now, obviously, in terms of the makeup, Bolt's finished 3 out of his 4 overs, so they're not going to leave him too much at the back end. Obviously, some sort of preparation for the possibility of Livingstone coming in there. They'd want to guard against that. Who's your best bet to prevent this another 117-meter 6?
Yeah, I suppose the big challenge really is that it looks like it's a really short boundary. So the game plans are going to have to be pretty clever in what they do. Prasit, I think, would be the man. I'm going to say to him, listen, long boundary. I want you to run in and bowl some quick deliveries, not half volleys for him to smash. Back of a length, maybe a short pitch delivery or two. If he wants to take you on and works out, then it's fine. But you don't want to just be a sitting duck there as a bowler and just feeding him the perfect deliveries.
Would you see any need for going to an alternate bowler? Because we know that they have some options. They haven't really utilized someone like Riyan Parag so far. 5 bowlers plus maybe half an option. But they also have, an X factor in Yashasvi Jaiswal who can bowl a bit if necessary.
Yeah, I think Parag might get an over or two, depending on how Ashwin and Chahal go. If they really are looking to be or seen to be the best performers by far with regards to how they're operating, then maybe looking to slide one in and just take the pressure off one of your seamers at the back end.
Look at the batting for Punjab in terms of what they've done so far, what batting there is to come. We know there's one big name to come. But in addition to Liam Livingstone, we also shouldn't forget Jitesh Sharma if required. He's been really good. And this is the kind of situation that's set up for both Livingstone and Jitesh Sharma, assuming this partnership between Mayank Agarwal and Bairstow is broken.
Yeah, it is. It's nicely set up, and they do have to take responsibility because if you look at that last four, there's not really much to come from there. And sometimes you can go a little bit hard, and then you end up in the 18th, 19th over under a little bit of pressure because your bowlers are having to do the job. So I would want one of those guys to take the responsibility if they get themselves set.
All right, final question. I'd be harsh if I didn't mention Rishi Dhawan in that same breath. He is, of course, an all-rounder. KG Rabada has been hitting them long when required. What's your score you're seeing at this stage when it was 88 for one and then a second wicket falling?
And I think my 177 might be a bit short. I think you were 1 and 1. What did you say?
191.
190s?
191.
Yeah, I think you could be more in the ballpark figure. In fact, I think they'd be pretty disappointed considering the firepower they've got to come if they didn't get closer to 200.
Well, I can tell you, don't count Shaun Pollock out yet because it is one of those
Another
things.
wicket?
One wicket falls. No, it hasn't fallen yet.
Okay.
If a wicket were to fall, if Livingston weren't to come off, then suddenly that entire equation changes. But we'll have to wait and see till the end of the innings. Looking good for Punjab right now. They just need to capitalize under that Mumbai sun and see how many more they can get. We'll see you at the end of the innings.